Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Wednesday night at the crib. I'm joined by Chris, Disturbed God,
Hello.
and just goes by one name, Mr. Tito.
Hi, everybody.
And this is Hefe as normal. And I guess we can get started. Anybody's welcome to join the show. I've posted a link down below, and feel free. If you have any technical questions, I'm not sure now's the best time to do it, but I guess we should get started. Let me share my screen, unless anybody's got something they want to start with.
No.
Okay. All right, bug fixes. Well, the first one's not really a bug fix. They added a new two new draconian mining bases that will. I have another slide that we'll get into. Actually, the next slide, and we'll get into a little bit of detail on that. Adjusted the payouts of draconian mining bases to be more in line with the difficulty curve due to these new targets. I've yet to find anybody that can actually see a difference. Have you guys come up with any evidence that they actually changed anything?
No, actually, I'm getting the same damage from the old ones that I was getting. So
Well,
I don't think if they have tuned them already.
well, it adjusted the payouts. So that would be, are you getting more base parts from the same one?
I have not done it in a while. Because I hit in the 90s all the time. Well, like I hit one
Okay.
while we are here and check.
Yeah, most of the people, at least in my sector, and what can I can tell on the forum, everybody's getting about the same number, unless it's referring to some of the lower level ones, or I'm not certain what's going on with that. The third bullet made some adjustments to the user interface for the roared nexuses on the map to help clarify what different state timers refer to. Okay. It's another Yoda one from 2 and 3. I really can't tell what Doom is trying to tell us. I mean, we get a general idea, but there's really no specifics there. Unless anybody else that's more into the nexuses know what this means?
I haven't touched the Nexus with my mega ship, so I don't pay attention to it.
Okay.
I haven't yet finished to build my mega, so I have no idea.
Okay.
With this one.
All right. Fixed a case where a player might receive 2 component refit levels when they were only intended to receive 1. This is some sort of lag, push the button real fast thing from what I've heard, or it's similar to what they did with some of the base repair and or ship or fleet repair things, from what I can tell.
Yeah, that's what I heard yesterday in Tuesday's show. Since that you were 5 minutes or something like that to finish something, and if you were refreshing and you were doing it and you were timing it well, instead of 1, you were getting two levels of the component instead of 1.
Mr. George has joined us, and anybody else, I put the link out there. Feel free. Like I said before, Tito hasn't bid anybody in 3 months, and George in 2, and neither Chris or I have bid anyone. So feel free. And WYSIWYG in chat says 60s have some more turrets. Is that the older update or the newer one?
That's the older update.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get on to the new draconian mining bases. I think it's advancing. There we go. The level 95 is new. From what I can tell, there's no Wendigos in it like there was in most of the lower level targets, and there is a Wendigos in the 97. You get 60,000 base parts and tier 5 siege fragments. Draconian mining base level 97. You get 120,000 base parts, and you get, well, we get a little bit more, but you get one Harlock Centurion shard. Shards don't follow the fragment. What?
You get 120,000. You don't get. It's a raw number. It's not something in between.
Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but
I missed
something
that one too.
Yeah,
No, you get 120,000 base parts for each 97. Is that what you meant, Tito?
Yes, you just get exactly that number. You don't get more or less. It's the wrong number.
Oh yeah, he's just saying it's specifically 120K. Okay, I got it.
okay, I'm a little confused, but you also get a Harlock Centurion shard. The shards don't have the same rules as the fragments, so irregardless of threat level in your sector, you're only going to get one, but at least you're guaranteed one. And this is the best thing I could find with the girl with the mining helmet. So take it as that, and we'll get a little bit more into I guess, how both of the tier 5 siege fragments, which are also available on the level 90 DMBs, and the impact that's going to have on the game, and also the impact of the Harlock Centurion shards.
I just did a 60 real fast, and I'm getting 23,000 parts, and that's the same I was getting before the update. I could try the others if you want, but I think it's the same numbers.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I was a little bit curious why, this is going back to the Bugfixes slide. Yeah, I was just curious, why he said that the payouts had changed, and I've yet to see anywhere that they have changed. But this is the Harlock Centurion, which has a little bit lower build time than what we're seeing from most of the flagships. The 50 shards are required, and you're always going to get one shard per 97.
Yeah, for me that's a huge advance. You are not getting to get whole parts and then the siege parts and having to collect them all. You are sure to get one part each time you go, and it's just 250 and you get it.
Yeah, but it's getting awful boring, and I'm only at like 23 at this point.
Yeah, but imagine if you have to do the same, likely if you don't have any of the foundry stuff that you have to get 136, and maybe you have all the fragment parts, but you need the whole parts, and you're just doing them waiting if you get or not. That whole part you are missing. At least now you know that it's a specific number of targets you have to hit, and you are done.
Yeah.
In the other case, if you're unlucky, you can do at least 33% more. If no more.
I don't know. I think at this point, at this stage of the foundry, for both of these, I think it's one step off, perhaps, but I don't know. Another chance for a chat later on.
Yeah, and I've highlighted the combat speed of 24, which is going to play in when it's when you're trying to use this with your the rest of your Centurions until they're at R5, and it appears that this is going to be at least the first step in our next raid cycle as far as what we're supposed to be building to. And I'm sort of learning from what's not there. There's nothing there to boost antis or anything like that. So if this is the ultimate or penultimate haul for this, you wouldn't expect maybe to have mortars or something like that that's present in the dub bases. So,
Well, we have that splash damage reduction, and that calculates out with a fleet of Centurions to be rather impressive in terms of splash reduction since they stack. However, does that outweigh, say, Punishers that are set up for ballistic radiation and have much better deflections?
yeah, this has a siege deflection of 475. I mean, the Punisher's is 500.
500.
Yeah, so by definition,
Does the regular Centurion have? I don't remember. See, that's the problem, is I don't remember.
yeah, I'm not anybody else in chat.
Hold on, let me take a check right now.
It's got siege deflection. Well, that's because I added 20, 40, 60, 80.
I think
It's got
almost
475 siege deflection.
It's got 475.
As well. Okay, so it's the same. And the other interesting part is most of these halls have these flagship halls have, not the Conqueror ones, but the flagships have recently been coming out with, like the Zoe's Apollo and or the Harlock Citadel have a 50% defense handicap, which isn't the case with this one. Currently,
Which is why I'm thinking I might actually build it.
yeah.
I don't like the defense handicap.
Yeah, because when I'm hitting 91s with my Zoe Apollo and other Apollo, my Zoe always has more damage than the rest of them, even though they're all stacked.
Right.
Going back to the regular one, it takes 274 Tier 4 fragments to get it to R4. Then R5 is 196 Tier 5 fragments.
Damn.
And I'm taking that number based off of the limited time offer I have right now.
Okay, so we're talking about. I was originally guesstimating around 300, but it sounds like we're getting closer to 400 or 500 fragments to get your normal Centurion to R5 from R0.
Although,
Or you can spend $100 and get it to R5 and get 10 one-day build tokens. If you're into that.
Yeah. I'm not into that one, sorry. I mean, the bet. This one's going to be tough to balance in terms of how you want to build your fleet, because I know a lot of people that have built Centurions either built them with other ships to tank for them or with them. But the other thing is too is a lot of them built them specifically with a flag in mind, like the Omega or the
Highlander's nuclear cruiser. And that's the thing is they give 50% ballistic. The Omega's defense and reload, and then the Highlanders is really only going to affect the defense unless you have launchers on it.
Right.
But you have to calculate in that splash damage reduction, because I think everything in the mining bases does splash damage, and then add in the dubs too if you're hitting those. It's probably better to run the Centurion.
Run this.
Yeah. Especially if you're in a dub because of the long-range cannons. They've killed my Omega at the entrance, so better off running that if you're looking for a dub fleet. But for mining bases, I think you're better running an Omega or a Highlanders.
I think it depends on what they're going to come out with for. I mean that this is assuming that this is what we need for January. If they come out with something in December's raid for January, I mean,
but
most of us are not going to bother with this.
Do you think that? I think that in any case, Centurion is going to be likely the Rhino or was the Tiger Shark in these last cycles.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. Is that that's what I was. This is why I'm afraid of doing anything with these. Is that they came out with the Hellwraith after doing the same thing for Tigers, which is fantastic for people that will not be able to get, the 30 or more million to get the new hull, but. I mean, if I have the choice between doing all of this work for this or getting the new hull next month, probably getting the new hull next month.
And what about the Saga's Punisher? How does this play in the game?
I don't know. I came very close to building that.
Doesn't it have the defense handicap also?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, but what purpose was that made for that's different from what this one's made for? That's sort of my question. They both seem to be built for the same they're in there for the same, same slot in your toolbox. But for Punishers, unless you're going to be running, maybe I'm going to have my primary fleet be Punishers and my secondary fleet be Centurions to run through the raid.
Well, how long did that come out? How far back? That was like 3 raids ago, right?
3 or 4.
But there hasn't been a use for it yet, has there?
Well, I know people have been using them for mining bases.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people. Look, when I ran dubs, I was running them with Punishes. That might have been it, or it might have been for something that they had planned to come out with and change their mind. Who knows at this point?
But it seems like for 50 million points, they need to make those people right. They need to do something that makes that, because that haul never really had much relevance unless you're doing dubs, and dubs stopped dropping blueprints. So I'm just wondering how that's going to play in.
But when it came out, I think it was Raycon in one show that saying something like that was going to do something with a new level on the
red
sector.
Yeah.
I think
that has never come.
I think it said something along the lines of that was what it was going to be for, and then I think they might have changed what they were going to do based on how the rest of the sector threat thing was working. I vaguely remember something like that.
Righty. Yeah, I do remember him. I think somebody asked him the question if this deals with that, and he sort of said, "Yeah, that's one of the thoughts." He wasn't direct on that one, as I recall, but because he was asked the question, he didn't come forward with this is what it's about. I think he was asked the question.
Yeah, I mean, I vaguely remember that. Okay. I'm sure someone can look it up and find out. I don't know.
Alrighty.
I don't recall.
Here's what we were talking about earlier with the Centurion and the Foundry.
And the speed issue.
Yeah. Speed issue is pretty big. If you have an R0 Centurion with speed 5, I think you're running at around 33 combat speed. And once you get it up to 20 R5, that changes to 34. I think I might be off by a number, but I think it's like an 11 combat speed difference between the two, which makes things a little tricky. And with what Chris was just telling us, it sounds like we're in the 400 to 500 fragment range to go from R0 to R5. So, as we were looking before at the stats, it may not be the best one to park in the corner relative to maybe the Omega Behemoth or the Highlander's nuclear cruiser. We'll have to see what the ultimate targets look like. But personally, I don't think they should put combat speed or turn speed in the Foundry. At least, especially not save it all the way to R5. Because it just screws with people.
Yeah, combat speed should stay in the first 3 because they're easy to get. Like, I could get the first 3 just off of the fragments I had saved up if I went out and got the whole fragments.
Well, and it also makes it difficult because if you had, planned, if you already had this built and had it, set up with a tank or something, now, you possibly could have just messed up the entire fleet. And then on top of it, if you're trying to run, like, say, because I'm more than likely going to get the Hilux before I even build any of these things. So right off the bat, if the first one that comes out, it's not going to match in speed at all, and it's tough. I mean, especially if they're trying to bring back some of the hulls. Like this one's a little bit of an older hull, so if they're trying to, speed it up so it's viable in some planned thing, it is kind of tough to get it there. But I like them maybe in the top 3 or 4 spots, especially the ones that you can't R5, like Rhinos. Is that the one? Or some? I mean, I can't remember. One of them had.
I think the Citadel can you not R5 this? Oh, you're talking about with the flagship issue.
I'm talking about other ones. Yeah, the flagship issue with the flagships being.
I think they fixed most of those issues. They had one with the Nova Storm, but I think they fixed that. They fixed that one. I'm not sure what's still. It's not something I use or have that still has that flagship issue. I'm not certain though, because I think they fixed the issue with the Dante's Nova Storm.
Speaking of which, I hope that's in this raid because it's not been in the last couple of whole raids, and I'm missing.
It's only been offered once, I think.
Has it? I mean, I'm missing it. I want it bad.
I didn't do that raid
because
because I went camping that weekend, so I didn't get anything from that raid at all. And I'm kind of regretting it because the Dante's actually pretty good.
So the camping trip wasn't that good?
No, the camping trip was great.
Okay. It was, you said you regretted it, so I'm just.
I can't even remember that far back, so crap.
That could have been the mega raid too. I think I did that one in like half an hour with 20 coins and got everything.
Okay. So
but I know I don't have the Dante's, and I actually want it now, and it's never been offered again.
Okay. Should we go on to the next slide, or we got anything else on? I mean, I personally, at the end of the day, it seems like I'm not even sure that putting this through the Foundry is really worth it, unless you can do it all at once, and you could potentially put all your Earth Shakers on your normal ones and just put Arbalest or whatever our next cannon is going to be if it doesn't add speed on the rest of it. That way you can still, maybe use the same engine because, if the idea was, okay, I'll put Speed System 5 on one and Speed System 4, don't they have different turn speeds? I'm not sure that I ever used speeds.
I think they're slight difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I've never used Speed System 4, but I think they have slightly different turn speeds.
I'm going to take a look
turn
right
speed
now.
is the same. The combat speed is different.
Okay, so maybe you can put this together by so our Speed System 4 and 5 are the same, but 3 is less.
No, 3 is the same. It's all mine are R15. It's 148.6 turn speed.
Okay, so maybe that's the most economical way to do it is to just keep on changing the engine and try, the speed system. And
Did I say that backwards? I might have.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
Okay. But I'm saying maybe it's more economical to keep on changing the speed system for this flagship haul as opposed to trying to job together all the plus 6s or plus 5s or whatever you're going to get out of weapons that you might put on it.
Well, the thing is you could camp it in the corner, right? It's not a field like the Zoe's Apollo is and the Harlex. It's just a.
But we were sort of just talking about that as far as like you might be better off with a Behemoth or a Highlander nuclear cruiser.
Depending on the target, though. I mean, we don't know what the targets are going to be yet. Yeah. So.
Also, you have to keep in mind you have to get the Highlanders or the Mega from a raid. This thing's always going to be in those targets. So.
Right. I mean, the good thing about this R5 of the Centurion is, one, that you can actually get it to R5, and two, you're getting 2,800 DPS. That's pretty good.
Well, you're getting 1,400. You're getting 1,400 bump, which I'd have to look at again. It's not really. I don't know.
No, it goes up to 2,800 in R5. You get
no, but I'm saying DPS. It's going from 1,400 to 2,800. Right, so you're only gaining 1,400
from R4 to R5.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You start with 0 at R0, which is what everyone's is. You're at 0 DPS. If you get it up to R5, you get it's 280 per weapon slot.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was just speaking. I thought you were speaking from that step, but you're talking about all.
I'm talking about
400 or 500 fragments.
Yeah, the fact that you can actually get up to R5.
It's for the whole hole. DPS isn't for the weapons per weapon slot. It's for the whole hole.
It's 2,800 for the hull, but it splits it by every weapon slot, so it's 280 per weapon slot.
Oh yeah, okay. I must have misheard you then.
Okay.
And you have to use the slot because if you don't use it, it just gets wasted.
Yeah,
it doesn't add onto the weapons.
Alrighty. A little data mining came out today.
Interesting.
The Mayhem. I basically makes it a wash in my mind. The Mayhem has 180. The Fire Twister has 195. But with that difference in splash, you're gonna, it's 6 versus 12. Or what's the base number?
What was it, 14?
Yeah, 14. Yeah, it goes up to like 18. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably going to
I
hit
think
the
those-
same thing because they both have a minimum splash number of 75. And minimum splash means at the outer edge of the splash zone, that's the percentage of the total damage it's going to do. And so they're both at 75, which is at the high end. So you're still going to do 75% of the damage if it's in that splash zone and you miss. So
which is a given with both of these.
yeah, it's an 8.33% difference. The hell rate's 8.3% faster. It's just, I'm not sure it makes a
I
huge
think I'm
difference.
gonna have.
You think what?
I think I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, man. I think it's huge. If I had the time in my shipyard, I would change every single one of my Hellrace over to the Mayhems. Easy.
Well,
Yeah, I would too.
You missed one of the prior shows. It really depends on what your target is. If your target is going to be the raid cycle ones,
Yeah.
then yeah. And assuming that once we get the new uranium targets, if they're going to be bunched together like that, then it could be huge. But
If you put the right specials on it, the Mayhem's over a tile. It's over a land tile of splash.
yes.
That's a lot of area.
Well, yeah, when you say the right special, if you're talking about the special to get the largest splash, but I still think the sealed fire charge is the right special. Which I think only gets you to 18, which is a tile is 20. Because of the criticals, it's probably the right special for most applications. If you know what I mean, right special to get the most splash versus right special that you might want to implement is probably where I'm, being pedantic or whatever you want to call me.
I think combustion system 2 gives the most splash.
Yeah, but it doesn't give you the criticals that would, add 200, triple the damage on a critical if you use sealed fire. So it's, I don't know. I just thought I'd share this with everybody.
But the criticals don't matter if your splash won't hit it. So it's sort of you have to look at the target and know what you're hitting.
Hmm.
If they're more closely bunched together, then yeah, I'd say the sealed fire charge for the critical. But if they're spread out, I'd go with the combustion system too.
We got anything else on this, or I can move on? I think the rest of the slides are pretty boring. So let's see.
Your definition and our definition of boring might be different. I don't know. Depends.
Okay.
What do you have on them? I guess.
Well, it's it's TLC related stuff. Dark Reign 3 and Phantom Warfare are repeats. They should be the same as last time they were introduced. What Doom Rooster is calling sequels are the High Tide, War Games 4, and Clash of Titans 4, which means they've had either small changes or large changes. And I don't know anything about Clash of Titans 4, but
Clash Titans 4, it's no longer there, and it was from last week, not from this week.
I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
it's
on the
not up
list.
because I can't do it.
Okay. No wonder it's gone. Thank God. I don't have to talk about megas anymore.
Yeah, that was from last week, but for some reason, it was lasting a bit longer than the start of the ones that came this week.
Okay. Dark Reign 3. What is the limit on the Vendetta build tokens? If anybody's
15,
still close,
I think.
15. Yeah, probably those have been spent since it's been a while since we've had this.
Well, I was actually hoping for a different ship thing because I don't need to build any more Vendettas. I got like 8 or 9 of them.
I was hoping for
What
spikes.
Yeah, it's.
I have so many vendettas. I still had all my vendetta tokens. I was still maxed out.
Oh, were you? Okay. Yeah, I have 4 vendettas, and as you see, you'll get 1, 2.
You'll get a total of 15 from
3,
it.
4. Okay.
It's 15.
You're not going to let me draw out the suspense?
No.
But
Fair.
I do have a Vendetta build that's under 3 days. If you get the tokens and you don't need to build any, that makes it a good cargo hauler. It can auto salves and collect. That's what I used my last 15 on because I was tired of my super fortresses.
Okay. You still get, if you've done it before, you're still going to get your Gale defense systems. 1 and 2, and the tokens. Most people probably already have a lot of the other technology. Go ahead.
Speaking of the limited items, they need to re-add Agility System 4 because I know a bunch of people who are running out of them.
Yeah. And
Yeah, they added one.
Fitting them off the free.
Was in the Tie Seeker, and that's the last time I have seen it.
And there's a lot of good prizes here, like Prize Pack 4 for people that are probably in the middle of the game and have Apollos that haven't got these things before. If you don't have a Harlock Citadel and Coaxial Firestorm, it's definitely worth it, I think, unless you're going to be, I would definitely get these two. I would definitely go for Prize Pack 4 if I could do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, I think it's undervalued at if you have Apollos, you can just run through this. So it's a no-brainer to, if they're not the best Apollos, to at least push to get Prize Pack 4.
Yeah, look, the Harlock Citadel is probably like one of the most powerful hulls in the game right now. Still, I mean, I think this is going to be one of those hulls that I think they might have overdone it just a little bit because it's versatile in what it can do, the speed that it can deliver, the mortars. I mean, yeah, it's definitely, you want to get this hull, absolutely, positively. Yeah. I wish I could get another one. I've been begging to get another one.
And if anybody's interested in Prize Pack 5, if you're interested in doing the mega stuff, the Zoe's Apollo is very useful as far as you combining with other Apollos to do the 91s. The flagship effect is very powerful as far as defending against corrosive, especially. So, and then also you get the Vendetta. I mean, this has got to be, across the board, this has got to be one of the most crazy campaigns ever as far as the amount of power that it gives a player.
Yes.
I mean, by adding all these hulls, you are in the game. And all you really need to have is a decent Apollo fleet, and you can get through this. Maybe get yourself a bullseye brigade for some of the ends of these if you're having trouble, but it's definitely worth doing, and I would prioritize this campaign over any of the other ones that we're about to talk about.
Is Dark Rain the one that has the crazy last one?
No, I think
it's High Tide, if I remember well.
Yeah, it's High Tide.
Dark Rain can actually be done with Punisher-led rhinos for the most part, actually, too. So I don't know if you could pull off Prize Pack 5, but I know that last time I had a couple people tell me that they could get through a good chunk of it with Punisher-led rhinos and some good crews. So, if you want to...
You can do the whole campaign with that setup.
Okay, see, so that's perfect. Given the power that you get from this campaign, that is fantastic. It's highly recommended.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna spend your week doing something, this Dark Rain is the way to go. If you don't have these halls, and you get a nice Conqueror Hall in the Vendetta, and you end up with 15 tokens, which is going to let you build almost 2 of them. Depends on what your build is, but at least 1 solid one. And on your way to a second one, and then you get another, generic build token. So personally, I would put your, if you don't have all this stuff, I would put your eggs in this basket.
Especially, I mean, I can't stress enough how good that Harlock Citadel is. Cannot stress enough.
Okay, War Games 4. Previous War Games, I can't remember okay, they've actually changed the targets, but it's related to. They're giving you the same targets that were in the one where you got the Harlock Revenge.
Yeah, the Revenge on the Harlock Revenge.
Yeah, I forget the actual name of it, but they're different. I mean, Price Pack 1 is easy if you have any sort of Conquer Hall.
No, you don't even need. I think Ren has videos.
I said it's easy. I said it's well. Let me finish the sentence. I said it's very easy if you have any sort of Conquer Hall, and it's very doable if you don't. Number one, you got to go after Destro's base circa 2011. It's and Price Pack. The first and second target are very easy, and the third one is still doable without Conquer Halls.
If you have coin or enough fleets.
No, it's possible without it. I mean, especially if you consider the amount of time you have it. Because I think it's how long is that campaign? It's very long, and if you use your rockets right, you can do it with without a lot of.
Last time I tried it with third level, I just destroyed my fleets at the entrance on my little account.
But did you try to snipe from the outside?
His fleets aren't good enough to snipe from the outside. He doesn't have enough range on them.
Okay. Prize Pack 2.
Well, actually, I was going to say for Prize Pack 1, there is. I think Tito was about to say. I think doesn't Ren show in a video somewhere?
Yeah, he was doing with very old stuff, and he was just doing it quite well with a reasonable amount of damage, so you could do it. I think he didn't need to coin.
Yeah,
he just could do it.
Yeah, I don't think you can pull it off Prize Pack 2, but I think Prize Pack 1 is doable, and I mean it's kind of a gimme for the atomic targeting, which is great, especially if you have what's that launcher? Not the D98, the one that does the actual damage for each flechette. No.
Antipode? D91.
That's D98U, right? I'm talking about the one that actually does the damage per flechette instead of the
Cyclone.
Yes, thank you. Atomic targeting is fantastic for the Cyclone if you have it, and you don't have the atomic targeting. Absolutely pick it up.
Yeah, that's, and it's obtainable for that's. I mean, because Prize Pack 2, besides the tokens, I don't know if you even. I guess you attempt it if you don't think you're going to get the Prize Pack 3, because that thermonuclear launcher, you're not going to throw on much.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, the atomic targeting is great because it's a great thing to have in your toolbox. If you can't get past Prize Pack 2, you probably don't want to even try going for the rest of it. If you can, I mean, do it, but.
Well, you get the tokens. I mean, you can get. I mean, if you can do it fairly easily, you're going to get, for the Malice, you get 2 days, and then you get 6,000 VXP. So if you could do it without spending a lot, it's more about the tokens, because you're probably not going to use the launcher unless you get the Retribution.
Right.
Yeah, and just remember, if you were gathering the Malice tokens from last TLC last week, that if you have not used them at all,
the
moment you're doing the Prize Pack 2, you're losing at least one, I think.
Yeah. You need to spend 3 of them. You need to spend 3 of them before you start this campaign, because you get 3 in the first 2, and the max is 12 from before. So spend 3. Personally, I put Siege Battery is 2 days plus the haul. You're at 3 days. Throw a Thud 1 on it. If you're thinking that you're going to get ballistic special and weapons that are going to be new that you might want to put on them, I think you're going to be safe with that, or maybe even throw like Speed System 5, Siege Battery 3, and a Thud, and spend 3 or 4 days of tokens, of the Malice tokens, and you're good to go. Because I don't think
do this.
What?
You load back up on your tokens when you do this.
Yeah.
Oh, you have them.
Phantom Warfare 3. All right. Pretty much everybody's gotten through the first 3, I assume, or
Yeah.
well, I mean, I'm sure this group. I'm thinking more the the people in the audience.
I don't
think
even
it's
remember
quite
how
unfair, this
difficult it
one.
was. Yeah,
It was quite, because it's the target that has that huge explosive that people was complaining so much.
Oh, hell.
And if you remember, they were putting the mega holes. Well, sorry, not the mega holes. That big, the big ship, the Hulkster that is surrounded by those drones with that huge explosive.
Oh, the pancakes.
The Hulkster.
Yeah, the Hulks.
Oh, we're getting back into
Pancakes.
get back to the WWF thing again. Okay.
This is one. Has anyone tried it with the Tide Seeker? Because I mean, if it's as difficult, if I'm remembering this right, and it's as difficult as last
I think
time,
Cuttlefish was on earlier saying he tried it with that, and it was a mess.
Yeah,
in chat.
It's
I don't know.
Unfortunately, I think if this is the one that I'm remembering, I think Tito's right. This one might be just a little bit too powerful for most of the mid and lower players.
Well, I think the first 3 were okay, and then it got crazy.
I can't say.
Yeah, the problem is that these targets are very similar to the 114 we are hitting in the VXP, and as you can imagine, it was hard even doing it with Hellwraith. And the problem we got is that the first time, it's the third time it has came. The first time it came, it just have till the price pack 5. That it was a pain to get just for the 3-day token. Then they added in the next time they could finally release the Phantom Hellwraith. And people were trying, but you would have to coin a bit. I think it was about 50 coins a lead. I don't remember, it was 50 with Grease Monkey. I think it was that way. So it was a bit expensive to do.
Yeah, I know that last pack 7 was hot as hell. I don't think I finished it.
I don't know how people has been able to do this with the Tide Seeker, to be honest, unless they have tried this time, because if you got the Phantom Hellwraith, if you try it, you cannot do it anymore.
Right.
It says complete for you, or it doesn't even show.
Yeah, I would put this, if you've made it, I mean, I would put this low on the priority list. I mean, considering, with the Harlock Tide Seeker, what is useful here? If it's going to be an expensive raid for you, what is useful? I mean, you're not going to spend that for the hydraulic resistors.
No. And the thing is, even if you go and get that Phantom Hellwraith, it's not like it has, a flag effect. It's just it adds another 20%, of damage to your fleet, which can work. But as we've seen, but as we've seen, we've had stacking issues in the 105s. So, do you want to add another thing in there to stack? I mean, I was doing videos of just one Hellwraith because people were having some serious stacking issues.
Yeah, and if you have a Phantom, you sort of have a target on your back from certain people that have spent a lot of coin to build the Harlock Tide Seeker, and this is their preferred prey. Not necessarily the Phantom Hellwraith, but any sort of Phantom they want to go out and hit. So, yeah, I think the difficulty and potential cost is a little high for the benefit, unless you've got great technique and all the technology already in place. That's just my opinion. I'm not doing this one. I made it up to. I'm already at prize pack 6.
Yeah, you're in the same spot I am, and I don't think I'm gonna get past that one.
Yeah, I'm not willing to.
I might take another poke at it and see if I can maybe sneak by using the Tide Seekers I have at the beginning. But I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it off.
All right, let's go to the next one. High Tide 2. I haven't been able to see how or if this one has changed since last time. The original the original High Tide, but Prize Pack 1 and 2 were extremely easy. And but previously they had about between 1 and 2 they had it was at least like 10 to 15 days of tokens. Yeah,
there was a bunch of tokens, but I mean, I think the thing is they also don't want to have everyone building some extra free ones for raid, because if you have some and they're ranked and they're built right, you can sit in auto, C's and B's and swap out, a hull at a time and rack up some pretty decent points. So I don't think they wanted to have, too many of these things kicking around for people to just absolutely walk. Because then the mid and low players are going to be really pissed off when there's no targets on the map for them,
Yeah, I'm just saying I don't have because it's not available. I don't know if this one's changed much as far as the difficulty of doing Prize Pack 1 and Prize Pack 2, but Prize Pack 3 is special that you should not even try to do this unless you have a Bullseye Brigade or a DOS crew, or you have an extra 100 coins you want to throw at them.
And you don't have to actually activate the Bullseye Brigade until probably like third or fourth prize pack if you're doing well. I only have 4. Yeah, I only have 4 Apollos. I don't have a Zoe's. Well, I haven't built it, but I have 4 with my what is it, the 262 build, and that thing does great up until the last one. And I think there's a video of me trying the last one, and you can see me screw up because I take out the ships, I took out the Mega, and I started separating one hull out to start hitting the islands, right? So the splash wouldn't kill all of them at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I was fine up until I came up around the corner, and I kind of lagged, and all of them walked into one turret, and I just died. I mean, it was just instant death. I was like, okay, well, that's not good. If they keep if they keep the same thing as last time, though, what you can do is bring in a retribution and outrange the turrets. So if you go in with your Apollos and kill the mega ship and all of the ships in the target, and then come back out and come back in with a ret to outrange the targets, you can actually outrange all the turrets for the scatter turrets. That way you don't have to lose a fleet. But that's if you have retribution, which segues nicely into the other TLC though.
Okay, and advanced concussive is nice if you're doing fresh builds for subs, and the Garwood Gatling gun is I mean, both of these, the Garwood Gatling gun and the reciprocator. The reciprocator you can get elsewhere, right? Where else can you get that?
FM, I think.
FM. It's a tier 5.
Okay, yeah. And it's also available at QVC for a limited discount for the next 45 minutes if you tune over right now. But let's go to the next slide.
$19.95. Free shipping. Oh, can I have those?
Oh my goodness. Whatever you're smoking, share it, mate. Share it.
Well, Sinsen can do 102s now, which she couldn't do before. And she's in our audience. She sent me this photo of her, right after she got the 102s done. So I thought I'd share this with everybody. So, unless anybody else has any breakthroughs they thought about for this week,
I'm about to.
Kixeye admitted it wasn't this. Well, Kixeye admitted it wasn't my internet causing lag. That's a breakthrough.
Well, for me, the fact that you can get those new pieces for the Harlock Centurion without having to work whole fragments and siege bars, for me, that's a good improvement from them. Because I'm getting a bit bored of having to get whole bars and wait for the other ones, or just get all the siege bars and then having to wait for the whole bars to come. I wish that all the Foundry was the same way, just having to collect a single thing and not just to... Especially because they don't have any sort of script that when you're full in one, all that you get is from the other ones. You can keep getting whole parts if you have them, and you're just wasting your time there.
Okay. All right. The last slide. Combat speed in the Foundry. We sort of went over this earlier. I don't like combat speed or turn speed in the Foundry just because it screws up everybody's builds. Any other screw ups from anybody else? Oh, and Sinsen does have a better pick that she's going to send to us at some point soon. I'll put that in next week's. She can top this one, you know. We'll have her on as a regular arbiter. You think that would work, Tito?
Oh,
yeah, okay.
Yeah. You can do she can do the presentations from now on.
You are the jefes. You are the one that decides who gets in and out, mate. Why you bother the rest?
I'm sorry, but we got the combat speed in the Foundry issue and turn speed, which I
failed to see a screw up here. I'm confused.
Well, no, as far as the fact that combat speed in the Foundry screws up so many builds that a lot of people don't even want to do them because it screws up other things, and that's more what I'm talking about. Like what happened with
two different things. That's okay.
Okay, alrighty. All right, I'm gonna try and figure out how to take myself off of present.
For the flagships, they didn't do something in a while back that as long as you were leveling your foundry, were getting your foundry levels, the flagship was getting the boost instead of just going for the straight boost.
I remember them talking about it. I don't know if they actually did it. I mean,
yeah, I remember they talking, but I didn't check if they did it or not. Or we are just getting like now that you get likely the high end foundry with the flagship, and you have to go slowly getting it for the normal ships.
So I mean, I like the I had a better idea where you just stuck it in the retro lab. You know what I mean? Have the you can do one in the Foundry, and then you can concurrently do the flagship in the retro lab. That way you can keep them at the same speed. But they did not want to do that.
Okay.
But
well, I think next on Friday's show we're going to do sort of an expanded. Instead of Geek Corner, we're going to do an expanded Noob Corner, as I'd like to call it. We're going to talk a little bit about.
I don't know if I would call it Noob Corner. I mean, there's a lot of people that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I would definitely call it a Geek Corner, but it's not as esoteric as we usually do.
Yeah, it's just trying to help people. Some of the terminology in the game is a little bit confusing, and it's a big part of the game, especially as it relates to deflection and defense handicap. There's a lack of documentation in the game that I think encourages it, but we're just going to deal with, you know, everybody's seen somebody, and you know, I'm not sure that it actually serves our audience. But you always see somebody like right after a raid winning a Conqueror Hall and says, I'm going to use this to do my FMs. And I have, you know, a lot of people I'm friends with that have been playing the game for a long time, and they think the same thing. They want to do that. And it's...
Well, the other thing is as well is that, you know, there's a lot of players that are coming back to the game. I mean, there's actually a lot of players that are coming back to the game to try it because they've heard whatever, and a lot of the stuff wasn't there before, or it was new, or, you know, there have been, you know, changes to it that are not clear, you know, to a layperson that's just coming in or something. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that that can be confusing in the game right now.
Yeah, it's just a lack of documentation, and a lot of people that are on these shows, we think that everybody should be, because we look at the forums all the time and figure out what Doom's up to, and read all of what the moderators say. That there's no consolidated place to go and look. Like, these are the rules in the game. There's no, you gotta run a search and not even know if what you're searching for is there. There needs to either be more concise language. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think a part of it is that, for us, for players that have been playing consistently, at least, where they've been present for the changes and stuff, we actually have enough input most of the time to deduce what everything is just from the blueprints. The problem is that if you're a new player or a player coming back and have not been here for those things, that's when it's not enough of documentation, I think. Because if we have the context, it really is pretty easy to follow along with it. If you don't have the context, that's when it becomes a problem, I think.
Yeah, and the wiki for this game is like way out of date.
Yeah.
I think that players like you and me and Tito and Chris were asked to dig through a morass of data and present it to people, and that really shouldn't be how people learn about the game. There should be a simple, concise way for them to learn, especially the very basics of the game, in some concise form. They shouldn't have to watch these shows to figure out the basics of, okay, I'm not going to send my malice into the FM target because it's going to get owned. That ought to be, we ought to be doing more fine tuning. We shouldn't be showing those sort of fundamentals to people because you have to run a search on this to figure that out. I mean, it's a GD Rakin post that's out of date from 6 months ago that explains the difference between the different kinds of deflection.
Let me play devil's advocate. Hold on. Let me play devil's advocate, because I've actually thought about this, and the problem that I run into is that I can't. How do you correct that in a way that's easy in terms of presentation? Because Rakin actually did come out with that what do you call it, a flow chart the other day, and it's actually a really, really good flow chart for trying to figure it out. But when you first look at it, it seems massive. If you don't
was that actually made public?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can download it. There you can download a copy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You sent it to me.
I was trying
but how would you find that one? If you right now you started the game, or you've been playing the game for 3 months,
how would player's guide? It's top posted player's guide.
Yeah. I mean, and there's so much stuff in there.
That's where I got the file. That's where I got the file from that I was trying to send you. Is you can download it from there. That's what I was saying. You have to. I was opening it up in video something, whatever it is, or Windows something, and that's where I could zoom in on it. But the one that was on the forum, I think I couldn't zoom in on. But the one that you download, you could zoom in. That's the one I tried to send you.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I don't know why you couldn't. But maybe if you download it directly from there, you might be able to get it.
Yeah.
You can download, but you better download even because it has high quality than the other one. It was.
Yeah.
The other one was a bit blurry.
But the thing is thinking about how you can consolidate the information to one. I mean, I keep on running into the fact that it's a monumental task to try and do that now, and two, I mean, how do you organize that so it's something that people are not overwhelmed by, that's the devil's advocate.
I'm asking for a Wikipedia and there was one, but I guess that the one that was running it. Maybe quit the game, and nobody has taken the
wiki over.
Has been taking to keep it of some way, and whoever has to do it, I think it's quite all the info you can get over there. So you have a long
even the
walk.
wiki though. I mean, even the wiki you'd have to sit and search and stuff. I mean, I think what Hefe is saying is
Well, no, I agree with that. I think a good wiki would help a lot of the problems. I mean, it's just not been updated, and it has a lot of bad information in it. It's well, it's not bad that it was originally bad, but it's
out
so
of date
old.
now. Right.
Yeah.
It's not bad. The problem is that it's not accurate because many of those things have changed in a way after power creeps, rebalance, and stuff like that. So all that you read there is no longer the way it is.
Build times, all that. I mean, I think it's a monumental task, and I cannot figure out a way to actually address it without just going, holy crap, this is just huge. It's just too big. I mean, I don't know how you would do it. You know what I mean?
Well, somebody that's getting paid whatever per year might be able to take that over, as opposed to making one post per day.
That was such an unveiled, just really, dude.
Whatever. It's my thought.
Yeah, but I think that your thought has no idea how much work that means.
Well, if somebody, if it had been kept up to date every day for the last year, it would be in good shape. I mean, now it's
you have to start doing it, and then you have to check every single time that they change something. Imagine that, you go for the Apollo, for example, the Revenge, you'll find a first start for that, and then the changes they did when they started to see that they were all underpowered or overpowered. So you have plenty of work. It's not something that you are starting today and finishing next month.
No, but I'm saying if you've been working at this for years, you should keep these things up to date. I mean, I have run to the end of the rainbow as far as trying to find girls that are actually fixing Volkswagen bugs. I mean, it takes me a lot of time to actually find one nowadays. And speaking of which, so anybody has a, wife, girlfriend,
oh
daughter,
my lord! Okay, now we're way too far.
Yeah.
We have gone way too far down the rabbit hole at this point.
Are you comparing the shape of a hole of a shape of one of those pictures, man?
No, I'm just saying the difficulty of actually finding a hot woman working on a Volkswagen bug to get the bug fixes done.
Do you mean that looking for girls like that is likely the same way that going and looking for the shapes of ships? Because, man, if you think like that, I think we have a serious trouble here with it.
Yes, well,
So anyway, that all being said, and that whole rabbit hole tangent that we just did is all leading to, Friday we're going to have a Geek Corner-esque type of look at what exactly are we looking at?
We're going to be looking at deflection, resistances, and how they're named. I mean, that's my big issue is how they're named. That I think it's confusing for people, and it would simplify things if the fact that all deflection wasn't called deflection, like maybe we called assault deflection and siege deflection shielding and the other one deflection, or vice versa. It doesn't matter, but just make it easier for players to understand. They aren't even close. They're not even in the same ballpark. Why do we give them the same name? That's more of, I hope that some people watch it and realize that we need to change the verbiage in order to make this understandable to people that are coming back or new to the game or don't like to read the forums.
Yeah, I think the thing is the mechanics are the same. It's just the application is different. And that's, I think, where people are getting caught with it. You know what I mean? But we can do that Friday. I don't want to go down another rabbit hole.
Okay.
I want to go eat.
All righty. Anybody else have any parting things before we go to the after show? No? Anything, Tito?
I'm good.
No, I think we have already told. You have all those pictures been asked, and well, if we can manage to fix that issue you have comparing shapes of those women with the shapes of the holes, I think we can be fixed. At least till next week.
I'm programming some AI thing to, figure out what an MCX lady looks like versus a Harlock Citadel girl. I mean, the program will be available easily. Google Play Store. It's only going to be $1.99. If you download a picture of a woman, we will give you the comparable haul.
Please, someone
and
take
for
the crack away from
$1.99,
them.
for $1.99, it's a good value. So
you should check the sugar you are taking, because I think that you confused the bot.
Wow.
Alrighty.
So,
Chris?
That mess. Wow. I think Chris said, screw you guys. This is fucking crazy. He's on crack.
No, I'm arguing with
Yeah,
people on chat.
I was just trying to provide some amusement.
Yeah. You do that anyway, dude. Don't even worry about it.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we're going to wind down now. You're welcome to join us in the after show. And nobody else has anything else. I will push the button. And thanks for joining us, everybody.
Have a good night, everybody.